Hello, Chargers. The purpose of this screencast is to help students and parents of my math courses be able to navigate through the new learning structure. It all begins here at the Parent-Student Portal. Once on this page, please go ahead and access the Canvas account for you or your student. For today's purposes, I'm going to go ahead and enter into the Algebra 1A course. My pre-calculus course is structured very similarly. Once you're in the dashboard, you'll notice the You Can Learn Anything video made by Khan Academy. This video was one of the driving forces that encouraged me to take the leap and open the world to true learning for my students. Below, you'll notice that for the semester, we will be covering multiple units. For each unit, it has its own button. Also, at any time, if you need to access this screencast again or other information about the course, you can go ahead and locate that here under Course Information. During a unit of study, the students want to live in that unit button the entire time. So since we're right now in Unit 1, we're going to go ahead and start there. Once we're on the Unit 1 page, we're prompted with other buttons. The buttons are Learning Profile, Computer-Based, Khan Academy Videos, Paper Pencil, and Curiosity Made the Connection. Students have choice in this class on how they want to move their learning forward. This is formally known as homework. However, it's ran a little different in my class. I want students to get as much or as little as they need to truly master the concepts. To do that, they may use any of these methods. For students that crave more structure, I would recommend starting with paper and pencil, and that'll lead you to textbook problems. For students that like the immediate feedback, though, I encourage you to look at the Khan Academy assignment or the computer-based problems. And for those students that like an alternate learning style or want to be pushed further, I encourage you to look under the Curiosity Made for Connection. So what is this learning profile? Let's go ahead and take a peek. Once we click the button, we'll be taken to this spreadsheet. Notice the spreadsheet is made up of several I can statements. Students at the beginning of the unit are to read each of these statements and code where their prior knowledge puts them. Are they a beginner? Are they progressing? Or are they mastered with that I can statement? And they go ahead and code that accordingly. As we move through the unit, they need to provide evidence of learning, regardless of where they coded themselves. Whatever they want to do to enhance their learning is their choice, and the codes are below here for how they shall do that. I check in with the students, ideally on a weekly basis, to monitor this progress. For students that I notice are struggling, we may need to check in more frequently during tutorials, lunches, or possibly after school. For students that are struggling with this idea of freedom and choice, I do have attached here to the title, and this will be true for every unit, a daily agenda document. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. The daily agenda document takes us to a Google Doc where by date, students can see what we did in class that day, and then below it are suggestions for what they should do to continue their journey of learning. They do not have to do all of these assignments. They do not have to do the entire assignment. Again, they need to do what they need to be able to feel successful in this math course. All of us have different goals, so depending upon our goal will depend upon what kind of work and evidence of learning we'll be providing. Beyond that, when we go back to the learning profile, some students were struggling with how to know whether they can or they can't. How do I know if I'm a beginner or if I'm mastered or if I'm progressing? So notice here the I can, and again this will be true for all units, is linked to another document. When we click this button, this document will take us to how to be a successful math student. Here the students will find learning portfolio guidelines, how do I know I can, where I have written descriptions to let them know if they've mastered, they should be able to do these things, or progressing these things, beginning these. As well, I've provided self-assessing suggestions. It's one thing to just do the textbook homework. It's another to know if we did it correctly. And so checking your answers for correct solutions is key to the success of this learning process. For students that are using the online assignments, they will already be given immediate feedback the minute they submit the problem. So if they're struggling, are they requesting hints? Are they watching videos or rereading through notes? Are they coming to tutorial? Lastly, I really do want all my students to be successful in this course, so I ask them to continually calculate percentages. If on an assignment they're getting multiple problems incorrect or they're really struggling, I encourage them to embrace those errors and come ask either a peer or myself for assistance. Furthermore, if students are doing really well, let's say that they are getting the majority of the questions correct on an assessment in class or on their learning journey, then that should tell them that they are doing well. However they're doing, once they're calculating their percentages, they definitely want to make sure that they're adjusting their learning portfolio accurately to achieve the goal they want at the end of the unit. In closing, I would just like to remind you that everything you need can be found on the course homepage within your student's Canvas course. And if at any time you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. I look forward to the year that lies ahead of us. Thank you, and go Chargers.